What's good? God is good. I'm your host, Jay Did It. Welcome to Thursday Therapies, a podcast for all creatives, writers, rappers, poets, artists, activists, Sacramento community therapy session. Today we have J.Rowe, a writer, spoken word poet, educator, and social activist who believes in the power of writing as a tool for learning, healing, transforming. Her work blends social justice, love, and empowerment with dynamic performances inspired by nature and artists like Sal Williams and Dolce. A nationally recognized poet, she has represented Sacramento on major stages, including the National Poetry Slam, Women of the World Poetry Slam, the California Democratic Convention, and the Illis Slam. She has also opened for influential voices such as Cornel West, Buddy Wakefield, Grammy-nominated Sean Williams, and America's Got Talent winner Brandon Leake. With a master's in education and counseling, J.Rowe brings her passion into classrooms and communities, mentoring, teaching, leading workshops that center art, culture, and self-empowerment. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Thursday Therapies. Hey. Woo, woo. How you doing?
I'm good.
That's
I'm
great.
good. I'm grateful.
That's great, great. I'm so glad to have you on here. I've been watching you and seeing you out there on the scene and doing your thing, and I just love it. I love it, and I love our friendship that we are forming, and I'm so glad for you to show up and be on Thursday Therapies.
Hey, well, thanks for having me. For real, for real. Thanks for all that you're doing for community as well.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for. Yeah, share the wealth, share the wealth. So, as you know, Thursday Therapies is a podcast for bringing awareness to mental health and sharing your journey through mental health and just letting the world know who J.Rowe is and what your story is. I'll ask you questions and, you'll tell me your answers. We'll have a little discussion, conversation, and just talk about your journey.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. So, what part of your childhood shaped the woman that you are today?
Ooh, okay. That's huge. I'd say definitely early childhood. Um, I think I've shared before, all things considered, I was blessed with a decent amount of privilege. So, two very loving parents, very outspoken parents, very, very articulate, very bright. And so they instilled that in me from a very young age.
Nice.
I think it's also where a point in my time where I just felt very free and intuitive. So I think I try to recall that as much as I can.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So, when you think back growing up in that little greenhouse in Sacramento, what stands out the most for you?
Um, I think the fact that I always felt really safe.
Yeah.
I never really had to worry about harm, physical harm, emotional harm, anything of that nature. And it was pretty diverse too, so I was exposed to different types of cultures and people. And I think collectively speaking, the household that I grew up in was a very loving one.
Yeah, yeah, getting to know you and getting to know your story and just learning about you and how you grew up. I didn't grow up that way, so I'm just like, that's amazing. That's the kind of environment I want to create for my children. And I loved that you had mentioned going on your little field trips and outings to different museums and just exploring and going to the river and the lakes. And that's a lot of the things that I try to do with my children and build that safe perimeter around their childhood.
Yeah, I think just being around adults that encouraged curiosity
Right.
was a really big, big, important factor in my life. To your point, always going outside and not just staying inside or just staring at the TV screen all day. And also often very active too.
Yeah.
So
I love that. I
very
love
important.
that. I love that about your childhood. It's amazing. It's inspiring, very inspiring. So, um, how did your parents support influence the sense of positivity in your life?
Mm. It's really funny. I think just by being who they are. So I always tell people My mom is probably the sweetest person I'll ever know, most patient person I'll ever know, very open-minded, not necessarily religious, but both of my parents growing up were very spiritual. So, reading the Bible together, also taking pause and time for gratitude.
Nice.
It was really important. So things were not perfect growing up, but when things were feeling challenging, God rest his soul, my dad would always say, "This is a teachable moment.
Oh,
What can you learn from this?"
Yes,
So I
yes.
think that's just kind of who they are. And I'll be honest, the longer I'm in the realm of education, the more gratitude I have for the parents that I got.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, you had some great parents.
Absolutely.
Wow. I mean, we all have great parents. You know, they do the best they can with what they got. You know, some are dealt a hand that's better than others, and you know, you just kind of have to deal with it, and to be able to come out of it in a great way, and just knowing that your parents did the best they can is a gift.
Yeah. And I think something else that really stands out about my parents, especially my dad, cycle breakers.
Yes.
So my dad was the first to continue on to higher ed, not only just get his bachelor's, but ended up getting his master's and did really well. And then also my mom just deciding to do things differently from the way that she grew up. And so I think that is also a big part of that, the positive outlook that I try my best to lean into. But there's always the way they frame things. Things are always possible.
Right.
Right. So, yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. And that's powerful that you say that as like cycle breakers, because a lot of people just don't know, and they're continued to stay in those cycles and those vicious cycles because they don't know there's another way. They don't know how to get out of that.
Yeah.
And there is. And like you said, you know, there's always a way. There's always a way. It may not look easy and it may not be easy, but there is always a way to get out of that. You just have to, you know, align yourself with the right people and ask for help.
That part.
Yes,
Aligning
for sure.
yourself with the right people.
Right, right. And it looks like your parents did an amazing job, you know,
Yes.
to line that up for you to have a great life.
For real. My dad used to always say, "You are who your friends are. Don't bring no raggedy people in this house."
I love your dad. I love him.
Yeah.
I love him. Yeah, I'm going to use that with my kids now.
Yeah.
I mean, God bless the people they hang out with, whether they're good, bad, ugly or not, you know.
Yeah.
It's just like you know, you just want to try to have something better, you know, like do something better for yourself and your children, for
Yeah.
sure. So what lesson from your childhood do you still carry with you now?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Okay, so I'll try not to make this too long-winded. Long story short, a kid was being a kid. I was just being a kid, and I lied about my grades. So I think at this time I was probably like early middle school. This is such a trivial story, but it's gonna make sense, I promise. So I lied about my grades, and my parents gave me an opportunity to tell the truth, right? And me being a middle schooler, not knowing how to read the room, not understanding that they already knew the answer, I just doubled down on the lie.
Oh.
Yeah. And I learned the hard way. That's the no-no. My parents had some old school tendencies, so I definitely paid the price a little bit. But something my dad really reiterated was, if you don't tell me the truth, then I cannot help you. If you don't tell me and your mom the truth, we can't help you. We can't help you steer through this, navigate this situation. We can't help you fix the problem.
Wow.
You have to face the problem.
Wow.
Yes. And in so many words, not only facing the problem, but also owning the part you played
Yes.
in the problem.
Yes.
And so that I think I've shared a million times now that my mantra is never perfect, always honest. And so I think that a lot of that stems from that little lesson.
Wow.
You know, that little instance.
Wow, we all need to take that lesson. We definitely all need to take that lesson, because that is so true though. I love how your parents put it. If you don't tell us the truth, then we won't be able to help you.
Yes.
And that's that's part of the process, is learn it. But you learn the hard way, which a lot of us do learn the hard way. I done doubled down on quite a few things in my life, but learning that hard way, and having to go through that, which you could have steered clear from some heartache, some pain, and all of that, if you just been truthful. And a lot of us don't figure that out until later on in life, and it's already too late. And some don't even figure it out at all.
Ain't that crazy?
So I mean, that's a great lesson to keep with you.
Yeah.
That's a great lesson. So, what did growing up in a safe, fun neighborhood teach you about community?
Just the importance of it.
Yeah.
Honestly, sharing. It sounds so simple, but sharing, whether it's, hey, oh, can I get some of these lemons from your tree?
Right.
Or, oh, you know what? For whatever reason, I can't take my kid to school tomorrow, but, oh, I know you guys are in the same class. Like, do you think your parents could help type vibe? So it's just, it really taught me how to show up.
Right.
And doing so, showing up doesn't always mean it's convenient, but it's also, it's like kind of like adding something into the the communal pot, right? So at some point you're gonna need
it takes a village.
Yeah.
And it does.
So.
It definitely does take a village, and to have that safe environment and upbringing is amazing.
Yeah.
So that is amazing, and it takes a village.
It really does.
So I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. Now, in your 20s, what moment in your late 20s made you realize that you had to choose yourself?
Ooh, child. We don't have enough time for this. My late 20s were, are we allowed to cuss? Is it frowned upon?
Is not frowned upon.
Okay, cool.
If you got to say what comes to your mind. Be you.
I try to be mindful, but yeah. So, they lied to us about our 20s. First of all, okay. My late 20s were an absolute shit show. Okay. And I thought I had it figured out. I was like, okay, I'm grown. I got it. I'm paying my own bills. But around my late 20s, I actually ended up going through a divorce, which was very difficult. And a lot of that had to do with my partner not taking care of his mental health. And then me just not understanding how to navigate that.
Yeah. Right.
I just couldn't understand it. So there was that. That was kind of the beginning of a really hard season for me. And then my dad got really sick. He got really sick. And a lot of things for us changed as a family. On top of that, my career was kind of falling apart. And it wasn't necessarily because of, not having the skill set or anything like that, but it is when you're a truth teller, it's not always, you're not always everyone's favorite.
Right.
Right. So it was just like all three of those things all at once.
Wow.
And, yeah, it was just a very heavy season in my life, filled with lots of heartache and also the beginning of some bad habits, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that, because I think sometimes when we think about depression or anxiety, we have this idea that it's very visceral and that it's boom in your face and you can tell.
Right.
And I realize in retrospect that that shit's insidious.
Right.
And it looks different on everybody. And I think also being a woman of color, you learn how to maintain and still have a high functioning way of being.
Right.
So you could be internally, I'm falling apart, but externally, you know, because I'm used to that optimism, that can become toxic too. So it was a very tumultuous point in my life. And it was also the time in which I realized, oh, okay, maybe not here in Sacramento.
Mm.
Maybe not here. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's deep. That's deep. I get it though, because I'm the same way, and it's just like high functioning. You never know. Like you would have never known like what these past 2 years have been like of my life. Past 3 years. You know, and it's just like people are blown away because we hold it very well.
Yeah, we
got to hold it together.
We still cute.
That part. We still cute. But it's toxic, and it sucks.
Yes.
It does suck because you really don't know, you know, how many people are suffering on the inside. And a lot of people are suffering in silence and don't really, you know, reach out for help because they don't know where to start or who to ask or who to trust to ask, you know. So, what made you have to leave Sacramento for that?
I think because I spent the majority of my life here,
Okay.
kind of assuming this identity that was put on me. You know, I cut on the dotted line, is what I tell people, right? I went to school, I graduated, I got a job, I fell in love, we got engaged, we did these things. Now my career is all these things I did everything I was supposed to here.
Right.
And then when I needed to take a break, when I needed to breathe, Sacramento felt too tight. I felt like I couldn't heal here. I felt like I was still trying to live up to other people's idea of J.Rowe.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel good or authentic anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. It was hard.
I see that, but you're turning on the lights for me, for sure. I'm like, I gotta go by y'all.
And this concludes.
But, no, seriously, you have to leave the environment of where you're at in order to grow, you know, and that's empowering, for sure.
Yeah.
So, how did moving to Philly help you reconnect to who you were becoming?
Oh my gosh. I loved it. Philly was a vibe. First of all, it was a fresh start.
Yeah.
When I moved to Philly, I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any friends out there. I didn't even have a job yet. I just knew the city was dope. There was a lot of art, and why not?
Yeah.
That's where I was at that point. I was like, why not? What I'm doing right now is not working. Wow. So maybe try something different, right? And so when I moved to Philly, that's when I got comfortable with doing things on my own, like for real. Because also, while I was married, I learned how to be codependent, which is another insidious thing that can happen, right?
Right.
And so when I was in Philly, it was like, I remember I was sitting in my tiny little apartment. It was a Friday night, and I could hear my neighbors. They were having some kind of kickback or something. And I was like, I got a little homesick because I was like, oh, all my friends are across the country and I'm bored and I'm just in this. And so at that point, I was like, well, then, bitch, you got to get up.
Yeah.
You got to go, okay, look for an open mic, go to that. And so that's what I did. I popped out to that mic, and that was the beginning of me really, like, leaning into my entirety. It was also kind of when I was able to start really believing in my poetry, because I'm in a room full of strangers.
Yeah.
And nobody owe me nothing.
Right.
They don't have to pay me no compliment or nothing. So to be, you know, put in this position where you have to do this on your own and take that chance, it was a really beautiful thing for me, and I grew a lot, not just as an artist, but honestly, like, as a woman.
Wow.
For real.
Dope. Yeah. That's dope. That's amazing. Yeah, no, because you get in a room full of people and it's just like, hey, make it or break it. or keep trying even if you do.
That part.
I love it. I love it, and you're amazing.
Oh, well, thank you.
You are amazing. So, what did returning home to Sacramento teach you about grief and healing?
Ooh, man, that I'm telling you, like, when the shitstorm starts, it kind of continues, right?
For a while. Yeah.
It just,
it's that dark hole.
yeah.
Like you say, I've been going down a dark hole, keep going, and you keep spiraling.
Yeah. And so I honestly begrudgingly came back because anybody who knows me knows, I'm a daddy's girl, and my dad was getting really sick. And something else that Philly taught me was, like, time is the most important capital.
Absolutely.
You can't get that back.
Ever.
You can't get that back. You can earn your money back.
Right.
You can even energy. Shoot, you could take a nap and wake up feeling
Refresh.
A little bit better.
Right.
But that time, you don't get that back. And so when I was coming back, I won't lie, I knew it was something that I needed to do because I loved spending time with my dad. I also knew my family needed to be together. But I was really pissed off because I feel like I was finding that stride in Philly. I had my little friend group. I found all the fun mics and everything. My job was going really well. And now it's like, damn, I got to come back. And I really, for a long time, because I made the decision, and I think about 2 months later, I ended up coming home. But for a minute, I shouldn't say a long time, but for a minute, I was in this kind of funky mindset of like, square one. It's square one. Here we go again. And shoot, this is why everyone should have a mentor. My mentor, I was on the phone with my mentor, and she was like, is it square one or is it full circle? Maybe you just needed a break. Maybe you learned things about yourself. Maybe you can come back and walk with a little bit more confidence. And she was right. And so coming back, it was really interesting because it's so different, right? West Coast, East Coast is so different. Sacramento, Philly, mad different. And so coming back, it was really, I had a lot of kind of conflicting feelings because it was also nice to come home and have that familiar sense of community. But I was really nervous and also apprehensive because I knew that I was starting to evolve, and I wasn't sure how my community here how people were going to be able to receive me. Yeah. Did I answer your question?
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
I think I went off on a tangent, but
no, I love that. I love the tangents, but definitely, just it taught you about, dealing with yourself and healing. And how did it teach you about dealing with grief?
Thank you. So this is why I said, like, it was a tumultuous time because as good as it was for me to go to Philly, I can now recognize that I was also running a little bit. Yeah. So full circle back to that childhood lesson, you have to face some things. Yeah. I didn't want to face the fact that my dad was getting really sick. That in my heart of hearts, I had this hope and this faith, but in my heart of hearts, I could feel what was happening, right? And so it taught me you have to face it. And you're going to have to deal with those heavy, hard, sad feelings. There's no way around this. Because regardless of what happens to his health, your life is still going to look different. Right. The old version of, my dad wasn't there anymore. And so when I came back, my dad fought such a good fight. He ended up passing, and that's when I lost my shit. Yeah. That's when I really fell apart. Like I said, I was able to come home. I immediately got a great job, my career, fine. But I was hurting but I was still functioning.
Yes.
And I was still doing a great job at work, and I was still, I was writing about stuff, and I was able to, when I was able to get up on the mic and stage, I feel like I was pouring into these performances. And so I don't know. I just, it didn't look cute, the spiral. We start talking about mental health for real. It's the most depressed I've ever been. And it wasn't just losing my dad. I mean, I got hit like one of my dear friends, Miss Angela, who was a really important pillar in Sacramento poetry scene, passed. This sounds silly, but my dog, who I love dearly, passed.
Oh, that doesn't sound silly at all. That sounds heartbreaking.
It was hard. And then then my dad passed. And I started to self-medicate. And that looks like a couple of different things. Full transparency, I found myself at the bottom of many bottles for way longer than I wanted. And it again, it was a slippery slope. It was insidious. It was the only time I felt like I could get some sleep. The only time I felt like I wasn't terribly sad was when I was numb.
Yeah.
Numb. And then with that numbness comes a bit of like, fuck it. I don't care. And so I'm giving my attention and self to people who don't deserve it, who quite frankly, everyone's dope, but sometimes people still raggedy, right?
Right.
Like real talk.
Right.
I stopped doing a lot of the things that were good for me. One of those things was running. That was something I shared, like my dad and I used to talk about running all the time, watch track meets all the time. So it was really hard for me to even just enjoy running.
Yeah.
And then I slowly stopped movement, and you know me, exercise, I always say exercise is spiritual.
Absolutely.
So here I am now. I'm finding myself at the bottom of a bottle. I'm not exercising. I'm isolating too. So yes, I will get up and go to work, do what I got to do. But as soon as I come home, when I was really at my lowest, I wasn't dealing with anybody.
Right.
And it's funny how you can, like, that cognitive dissonance is real. Like, you can really start to justify your behavior, and like you can really logic your way through some stuff sometimes.
Absolutely.
Which is wild. Right?
It is wild. I feel you. I feel your pain. As you know, my mother passed away, and I've been going through the same things. And I checked out. I was spiraling for such a long time. And how did you pull yourself out of there?
Shout out to community. Shout out to therapy.
Absolutely.
One of my best friends one day saw me spiraling, could feel it, and I stopped being responsive to people too, right? Like I was really isolating. And she texted me one day and she was like, "I'm outside of your house right now. Open the door." Wow. Open the door or I'm going to turn up. Like, open the door. And she got me to open the door, had a meltdown. She ended up calling my mom. We all had a meltdown together. And it was the first time I think, allowed my mom to see just how unwell I was, because I'm trying to carry and be there for her and my siblings. And yeah, so that was the beginning of that. And we had conversation. And so it's funny, like my educational experience is like rooted in counseling, and so I was like, damn, we can be the worst offenders.
Absolutely.
Right? And so I got back into therapy, started talking through things. I finally took time off of work. That was the other thing. I was like, well, if I don't go to work today, I'm just going to sit here and probably drink.
Probably.
Can't sit still right now.
Wow.
And so I finally took time off of work and I slowed down and I had to tell the truth.
That's amazing. That's amazing that you had that support system to tell you and show up for you like that. See, I didn't have that. So I went down that dark path until it was too late. I ended up losing my job, losing my house, separating from my children, all of that, you know. And but it taught me a lot of things, like put a lot of different things into perspective of how I want to show up for myself, you know, going forward. And it's just that is like showing up for myself and showing up for my kids, and that's the main thing, you know. And like you said, therapy and reaching out and you know, the poetry scene and the music scene out here in Sacramento has been nothing but supportive. And I've met you, I've met Woodsworks, the owners of Woodsworks, you know, and just great people that really just show up and genuinely care.
Yeah.
You know, so it's great that you have that and had that, you know, and a mentor.
Yeah.
You know, that's key. That's very key in everybody's lives, is to have people that you can look up to and people to call you on your shit.
Hello.
You know, people to definitely call you on your shit, because there's a lot of people who would cheer you on in the background and just watch you fall. And watch you fall, you know, and be like, yep. And so people are waiting for us to fall right now. Like, they're going to do it again.
Listen, it's really interesting, because I think you have to pay attention to how people celebrate your success,
right,
and how they respond to you when you're not in the highest vibration.
Exactly.
Right? I personally, yes, you can hold space for me, but then at some point you need to look at me and be like, bitch, stop dwelling. Let's go.
Let's go.
Right?
It's time to move, make moves.
It's time to elevate.
Right.
Like, there is a difference between dwelling and therapeutic expression.
Right. I love that.
Right?
I love that.
So, it's
I
important.
love that. I mean, they're hard lessons, you know, and the grief is never ending, you know. It's not linear, and there's highs and there's lows, you know. But it's amazing and great that you took the initiative to get the help before it was, you know, before anything worse happened, you know, because like I said, I lived it. I've been there. Like, I done lost everything. My car got repoed, all the shit. And I'm just like, when are you going to learn? When are you going to get it? You know, I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I was like all or nothing. It didn't matter. That's how deep I was down in that dark hole, you know? And so it's tough. It's tough. But thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Thanks for holding
So,
that space.
who or you already answered this, but who or what helped keep you going during your darkest season?
Yeah, I think just my homies. Like, you know, I speak of community, and that can mean a lot of different things, but one of my biggest things is, like, if you don't know my middle name, maybe we not homies like I thought, right? But just being around people who really know me, know when to call me in and when to, you know, tell me to have a seat. I think also poetry, right? The poetry community, because that's a place where you can express.
Absolutely.
Right? That's the whole point of this.
For sure.
Yeah, so I think just those things. Practicing what I preach.
Yeah.
What would I say to my best friend? What would I say to my students? So that's how I think community has really just helped pull me out of that dark space. It's just simply telling me the truth and showing up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Excuse me. So how did poetry save you or shift your emotions in your landscape?
Yeah. Oh, I love that question. All right. Poetry is life. I'll just start there.
I love it. I love it. It does. It brings you back to life. For
it
sure.
really does. It really does. I think with poetry, I'd shared with you earlier that it helps me reframe narratives that don't serve me.
Right.
So there's a difference between being toxically positive and reframing your narrative so you can see the opportunity that's somewhere it's embedded in what's going on, right?
Right.
For me too, like poetry also is the precursor for being able to have vulnerable conversations, because your girl be hiding behind those metaphors, right? But once I get comfortable and sit with those things, it's a little bit easier to just like come from behind that and be like, you know what, Jay, girl, let me tell you something.
Right.
Let me talk to you about this little depressive episode I had, right?
Yes.
Without trying to be all poetic and beautiful. I can just
Right.
start to just,
That
sometimes
part,
you just
that
gotta
part.
say
You
shit.
just gotta be blunt and up front.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, just really shifting narratives. And the more that I write, I think it starts to show up in just, I mean, even how I work with students, right? I got middle schoolers too, and
I
it's
love
like,
it.
I'm a weirdo. It's like, okay, maybe me too, but maybe it's not you're a weirdo. Maybe it's you're just unique.
Absolutely.
You know?
I love that.
Yeah,
I
so
love that. That's so sweet.
yeah. So,
That is, yes, the little ones, the little ones.
yeah.
So, what have metaphors allowed you to express that plain language couldn't?
Oh, I think heartache. Really, though, when we talk about spirituality, I have a poem about being angry at God, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's because we when we speak upon Most High, or you know, the universe, or whatever you call it, right? I always say same song, different DJ. But when we speak upon those things, we don't give ourselves permission to be like, you know what, I'm hella mad at God.
Right.
I don't really get this one, God.
Right.
Like, what's going on? And so being able to write it down in a way that felt honest but gentle really helped. Really helped. And I lost track of the question, but just kind of,
No, that makes sense
thinking
though,
out loud.
because like you said, a lot of people you tiptoe around that, and sometimes you just got to let it out and let God know, the Most High, whatever you believe in, you got to let them know, and even writing stuff like that, it feels weird.
Like, you looking at like, please don't strike me.
Right, don't strike me down, Lord.
Lord, please.
But no, I mean, but it is because like writing what you feel is something that you can express without feeling bad about it, because I've written quite a few things that I probably wouldn't have written without poetry.
Yeah.
It brought me back to life, and it's some deep, dark stuff, and I'm able to sit there in front of a crowd and say that stuff out loud. It's just like, it's freeing, definitely, and it brought me back to life.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it allows, I think, when you start talking about sharing your poetry, it allows for resonance.
Yes.
Right? For someone to be like, oh, you too?
Right.
Sis, thank you. Like,
yes.
like, or even when I'm sitting in the crowd and listening, it's like, dang, like, don't talk about it. Like Jay said, don't talk about it, be about it. Like, I feel you, you know, so that resonance, that connection.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. So how does performing your truth help you transform it?
That's a really good question. How does performing help me transform?
Performing your truth help you transform it?
I think the longer that I lean into my truth, right, the more confident I become.
Nice.
I can see that, like, that evolution, that elevation happening. And that, again, it goes back to reworking a narrative in a way that's going to serve me.
Yes.
So.
That's dope. That goes back to that lesson learned,
Girl,
tell your truth.
You got to.
You got to, so that you can work through the problem.
You have to.
Always.
You have to.
Always. I love that. So how has writing or performing helped you hold your grief, your healing, or both?
Ooh, both. Like you said, grief is not linear, right? So some days I might need to go back to going in and talking about what I'm pissed off at or why I feel heavy or whatever. But in doing so, releasing is also healing.
Absolutely.
Right? And, you know, I feel like it's hard to explain, but I think when you're able to release, it's almost like you're letting a wound kind of like scar up and heal.
Yeah.
And it ain't always cute. Like, scars ain't hella cute.
Not at all.
You know?
But it's okay.
But it's okay.
But it's all right.
We still here. We still cute, though.
Right. That part. So what does your mantra, never perfect, always honest, mean to you? Explain to us.
Just that. Listen. You gonna mess up.
Yeah.
That is inevitable. Sometimes I think I'm being so self-aware, and then I look back and be like, oh, I could have done better. And instead of just sitting with that and being like, oh, I could have done better and holding it,
right.
I'm getting a lot better at being like, you know what, Jay, I could have done better. Like, my bad, I wasn't thinking.
Right.
Like, I'll get it I'll get it right next time, or I'll really work to do better at it next time. And so it also, when you own your truth, it allows for you to just say, yeah, I made a mistake.
Yeah, give yourself grace.
Give yourself some grace.
Yeah.
And in doing so, you learn how to give other people grace.
Absolutely. We're all human.
Listen.
We make mistakes sometimes.
Mm-hmm. I make a lot.
More than others.
Yeah, I make a lot. I make a lot.
It's okay. You turn them into lessons.
You
that's
got
okay.
To. Yeah.
That's okay.
Just don't keep making the same one.
Over and over.
That's silly.
And over.
Yeah.
So, what message do you hope listeners receive from your healing journey?
Oh, it's okay. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to be hard. That's the other thing, okay? They lie to us. They make healing, well, at least on social media and all the things, look like it's just like this beautiful process, and all of a sudden I'm this butterfly that just emerges out of the cocoon, and oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No, the healing hurts, man.
Oh,
like
man.
I just said, scars ain't hella cute.
Gut wrenching. man.
It hurts. But you still need to face it.
Right.
And it's never done. It's never done.
Never.
You know.
It's continued education for the rest of your life.
That's it.
If you ain't learning,
what you doing?
If you ain't learning, then you dead. I don't know what's going on. I really don't. Like, you know, you got to continue to educate yourself about yourself. You're the only person that knows about yourself.
Come on now.
That's a new one. Yeah. Seriously, that's dope. So, what would you tell someone who is struggling in silence right now that doesn't know where to start to get help?
I would say this. Give people a chance. Do your best to find somebody that will just maybe even start with holding space. But give people a chance to be there for you. You don't have to do it alone. In fact, you shouldn't even try to do it alone.
Right.
And don't have no shame in it. You start where you start.
Yeah.
And, you know, whoever's down, whoever has your back for real, is going to be there when you come out of it too.
Right.
As long as you're trying to do better.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely. And it ain't no race to healing.
No, take your time.
Take your time, for sure. Take your time, for sure. Well, thank you so much. Let's switch gears a little bit. I don't know if you wanted to tell a poem or share something. You got some upcoming shows coming up?
Let's see. I know shows for me, at least for the rest of the year, which is only like a little baby second.
Right.
But I am hosting the Mahogany series. It's every second Saturday. This weekend we have an incredible artist that's going to be accompanied by some local musicians, but Sean William will be in the building. So Grammy nominated, super fire, very, very versatile poet. And other than that, I would just say stay tuned. 2026 is going to be a big year in terms of me taking my art more seriously.
Nice.
So we got some few projects in the works. So
I love that. I love that. So where can people find you on social media?
Oh yes, the shameless plug. I'm very active on Instagram, so you can find me at Rowe Writes. So ROWE .Writes WRITES. I am on Facebook a little bit more sporadically, but I will, follow you back on that. So those will be the main platforms you can find me until we get that website up and running.
Okay.
So I'm manifesting right now.
Yes, I love that. I love that. I love that. So would you like to share a piece?
Sure. Let me think. Can I use my phone?
Yeah, grab your phone. You need it?
Yeah. So this is actually a newer piece. And when we speak about poetry, I always say like that's alchemy as well, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe sometimes turning not so great things into something beautiful. But here we go. An alchemist needs few syllables to prompt the personification of beautiful things. So as minutes mend the imperfections of severed holiness, liminal space grows into possibilities but anticipatory. Like confusion turned eager. Like emptiness turned canvas. Uncertainty remains punctual, and I find myself wondering about the inescapable qualities of grayness. Which is to say, I find myself contemplating the correlation between time and belonging. So I recklessly turn heaviness into daydreams rooted in floral declarations, into grounding. Soft and unassuming, like a flower. Like a flower that refuses to stop growing, forget not. We be bloomed so wide that the certainty of goodness echoes anywhere our heartbeats drum. Again, an alchemist needs few syllables to prompt the personification of beautiful things. Kinda like silent conversations awaiting matrimony between love and authenticity. Like felt understanding. Like the moon's refusal to settle for partial fullness, meaning words may not always be necessary, but need be planted gently without the worry of temperance or prescribed outcomes. Hollow words repel discovery, and sweet nothings sometimes corrode dialect. Sometimes buries us absent-mindedly so, but we keep foraging. Daringly expanding, bearing and breathing, falling and scarring, learning and healing, forget not. We be bloomed so wide that flowers, like flowers that refuse to stop growing. We be poetry and prophecy. Be salt and water floating. We be bloomed so wide we float in the creases of God's palm. We be bloomed so big the expansion of forgiveness feels like a promise to self. Feels like syncopated Saturdays and Sunday morning singing over the fear of sirens. Fear not, just be bloomed so wide. They want more. And who could blame them? Poem.
Yes, that was so beautiful. I love that. I felt that. I felt that.
Thank you.
That I definitely felt that. Feels like a lot of stuff that I had been going through. Deeply rooted stuff, and just becoming a new person.
Yeah.
and really trying to just be out here. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that. I love that. That's
Thank you for
J.Rowe,
the
y'all.
space.
J.Rowe the poet. Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. So until next time, stay grounded, stay grateful, and check yourself, check your mental health. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, keep the conversation going.
Yeah.
Ask questions
Yeah.
and just bring more awareness to mental health. So check yourself, check your mental health.
And stay hella cute.
Hella cute.